We're all pretty fascinated by one of the biggest questions of our time. What does it really mean to age well? And look, this isn't just about adding more years to your life. It's about adding more life to those years. Okay, get this. Here's a staggering fact that really sets the stage for our whole conversation. Over the last century, human life expectancy has jumped up by more than 20 years. That is, without a doubt, one of the greatest achievements in all of modern history. But all that success, it brings up this really uncomfortable question, right? What's the quality of those extra years? Are we actually flourishing, or are we just, enduring? And that right there, that's what scientists are now calling the longevity paradox. It's a really powerful idea that kind of challenges our entire concept of what a successful long life even is. Here's the problem in a nutshell. The data shows this growing gap where, yeah, our total years are going up, but a lot of those extra years are spent managing decline, not really living. So, to really wrap our heads around this paradox, we've got to get clear on two super important terms that are at the absolute heart of longevity science: lifespan and health span. Okay, so on one side, you've got lifespan. Pretty simple, right? It's just the total number of years you're alive. But then there's health span. And honestly, this is the one that really matters. It's the period of your life you spend in good health, with vitality, with function. The whole paradox is that the gap between these two is getting wider and wider. And look, this isn't just some abstract idea. It gets really personal really fast. This quote from the source material, man, it just hits home. That feeling of watching someone you love just exist but not really live out their last decade, that's the health span gap right there in real life. Wow. And that line, it just perfectly captures the emotional weight of this whole thing, doesn't it? When our medical system is only focused on keeping us alive but not preserving our quality of life, well, this is what you get. We're just stretching out that final, really difficult chapter. So, what are we actually trying to do here? What's the real goal? I mean, it's so easy to get swept up in these crazy headlines about reversing aging, but let's ground ourselves in what the top researchers are actually trying to do. All right, here's the key thing to remember. Even the smartest people in this field are not chasing eternal life. The real goal, the tangible one, is to what they call compress morbidity. Basically, to shorten that period of sickness at the end of life, to push the start of chronic disease as far into the future as possible. This quote from a clinician just nails it. I mean, think about it. What good are extra years if you can't play with your grandkids, or travel, or even just move around without pain? Function. That's the real measure of success, not just a number. Now, I know what you might be thinking. Oh, it's all in my genes, right? It's just predetermined. But the research, it consistently points somewhere else. Our daily choices, how we move, what we eat, how we sleep, how we handle stress, they play a massive role, oftentimes a bigger role than our DNA. Okay, so we know our choices matter. Great. But what do we do with that? How do we even begin to make sense of it all? Well, there's this simple but really powerful framework called the longevity traffic light that can help us organize our thinking. Just think of it like a traffic light for your habits and your health. This isn't about being perfect or doing some complicated biohacking. It's just a mental model, a simple way to understand risk and prioritize what actually matters for your long-term health span. Let's start with the red light. These are the big ones, the things that decades of public health data confirm will dramatically increase your risk of a long, low-quality decline. We're talking chronic inactivity, consistently terrible sleep, unmanaged stress. These aren't just bad habits. They are powerful drivers of chronic disease. All right, next up is the yellow light. These are kind of like the check engine lights on your dashboard, the warning signals. Think of key health markers like your blood sugar, your blood pressure, your inflammation levels. But it's not just about blood tests. The research is also incredibly clear that chronic loneliness is a huge risk factor that we absolutely need to be monitoring. And that brings us to the green light. This is the good stuff. These are the foundations of a high health span. We're talking about regular movement, especially building strength and keeping your balance. Nutrition that keeps you metabolically healthy. And, just as important, strong, supportive relationships that give your life meaning. Okay, that was a lot. So if you're going to walk away with anything from this, what should it be? Well, it really just boils down to three simple truths. Number 1, living longer, it doesn't automatically mean living better. Number 2, health span. That's the metric that matters way more than just your lifespan. And finally, number 3, those tiny little choices you make every single day, they are the things that compound over time and literally shape the person you will be decades from now. And that kind of leaves us with one final big question to chew on. We spend so much of our lives optimizing our finances, optimizing our careers. We plan for all of it. But are we putting that same deliberate effort into building the physical and mental version of ourselves we're going to need to actually enjoy that future? It's something to think about.